Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report on Entity Television. I'm Steve Lance. Capitol Hill was abuzz today. This as IRS whistleblowers testify about what they call a lack of federal prosecution on Hunter Biden's tax crimes. NTD's Melina Wisecup is at the Capitol with the story. So, Melina, what was the environment like there today?
It was an unusual sight. You don't normally see this outside of committee hearings, but there was a long line of people waiting outside today just for a chance to sit in and listen. I wanted to find out why people were so interested in this topic. I asked one gentleman standing in line, and here's what he told me.
As a citizen, as an American, it was troubling to me to see this utter lack of curiosity about these things, because I think it is very important, no matter what the politics of the matter are, that we have a government that is not compromised.
This hours-long hearing involving 3 committee chairmen focused on how the DOJ handled Hunter Biden's tax violations.
Between 2014 and 2019, this brings the total amount of foreign income streams received to approximately $17 million, correct?
That is correct.
Hunter was like the point salesman. So what was he selling?
There were multiple instances in this investigation where there were references to the father of the subject, President Biden.
But some Democrats took issue with the evidence that was presented, some pointing to what they call political meddling under the Trump administration.
They're cherry picking from the letter, right, where they say, oh, David Weiss said this, but they're not then reading the rest of the letter where David Weiss said he had full authority.
Perhaps we should discuss Ivanka Trump's investigation who was close to being charged with felony fraud after Donald Trump's personal attorney provided political contributions to the local DA. Those charges were dismissed.
Democrats repeatedly said that this 4-year-long investigation was thorough, and Ranking Member Raskin said that Hunter Biden already pled guilty to misdemeanors on not paying taxes, but the GOP says those charges should have been felonies.
And the assistant prosecutor, Leslie Wolf, said she agreed with those felony charges for tax year 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 was while Biden was president, and they wouldn't do it.
And yesterday I asked Chairman James Comer what's next for their investigation. He did not directly answer my question, but they have continuously said that they will just continue to follow the money. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Wisecup, NTD News.
It was a busy day in Washington today, and with reaction to some of all that was happening, we're happy to have Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter. Congressman Buddy Carter, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Congressman, we're seeing more and more whistleblowers emerging from these federal agencies, the latest 2 more coming from the IRS, actually testifying on the Hill today related to Hunter Biden. What do you make of all of this?
Well, first of all, let's make sure we understand these were 2 highly credible IRS whistleblowers that we heard from today in the Oversight and Investigations Committee, and that's very important. And, you know, it is so sad to see that our country has evolved to the point where the DOJ and the FBI have been politicized and weaponized and used as a political weapon. That's a sad state of affairs. And look, there are good people in the DOJ, there are good people in the IRS, there are good people in the FBI. But just like every profession, there are some bad apples, and they need to be weeded out. But it's sad to think that, you know, there's 2 sets of laws here. There's a set of laws if your name's Biden and a set of laws for everyone else. And that's what really frustrates people the most. And the other thing I want to point out here is that I find it to be really unbelievable that at this time when the whistleblowers are coming here on Capitol Hill, that Donald Trump is being investigated for his role in January 6th. That's just more than just coincidence. It's really sad.
Congressman, I just want to switch gears a bit here. You actually sit on the Committee on Energy and Commerce as well as the House Budget Committee. The president is touting Bidenomics and what he touts as successes in the economy. I want to just read out a tweet here and get your reaction. He says, the president says, real wages for the average American worker are higher than it was before the pandemic, with lower wage workers seeing the largest gains. That's Bidenomics. What's your reaction?
Well, Bidenomics, we've had enough of Bidenomics. Let me tell you, this country, I don't think, can stand a whole lot more of Bidenomics. In fact, a CNN poll has said that 66% of Americans aren't happy with the economy and the way it's performing right now. So real wages may be up, but inflation's up too. Now, we've seen it come down, and that's a good thing, but it's still high above what it was when he took office. And again, you know, you can make the argument that a lot of what has happened in our economy has been a result of the policies of this administration. It's been self-inflicted. Day one, this administration declared war on fossil fuels, and resulting in higher gasoline prices, resulting in higher inflation, resulting in higher interest rates, resulting in the mess that we have in our economy right now. So to think that this president would take responsibility and think that Bidenomics is a good thing, it's just ridiculous.
Now, Israeli President Isaac Herzog earlier today addressing you and your colleagues in a joint session of Congress. What was important about this address, and what is the current state of U.S.-Israel relations?
Well, first of all, I think that the president did an excellent job. I was there, I was present at the speech, and it was very positive, very encouraging, and I was very impressed. But I have to tell you, I think that the relationship is still good. It's sad, though, to think that even last night, we had 9 Democrats who voted, had the opportunity to denounce anti-Semitism, and they didn't do that. And that's a sad state of affairs. There's still people, even though Representative Jayapal walked back her remarks, it still shows a deep divide here among some members of Congress and among some people in the Democratic caucus that is really disturbing.
Congressman, I want to get your thoughts. In a sense, would you say, or is it fair to say, that a secure and peaceful Israel also make the United States safer?
No question about it. We need Israel. Israel needs us. That's what the president said today in his speech. Again, a very encouraging speech, a very inspirational speech, making it clear that both countries need each other. And we do need Israel. They are our ally in democracy in the world, and particularly in the Middle East. And that is vitally important for us. And we always need to be aware of that.
Congressman Buddy Carter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Biden administration now taking on corporate mergers, saying they could hurt market competition. But some business leaders say Washington's regulations do more harm than good. NTD's Iris Tao brings us more from the White House.
Boosting competition. That's what the Biden administration says it's trying to do as it rolled out new guidelines today to scrutinize corporate mergers.
Bidenomics is about increasing competition, not stifling competition. Anti-competitive mergers can hurt people and drive up costs as well.
The administration today proposed new guidelines used to determine whether or not to block a merger. The checklist includes examining if the merger would significantly increase concentration in highly concentrated markets or eliminate substantial competition between firms. But the U.S. Chamber of Commerce fired back, saying such new scrutiny would only chill merger activity and deny smaller companies access to the capital and expertise they need. The group has also criticized Biden's Competition Council, saying that this Washington knows best approach will make our economy less competitive.
Supporting pro small business, pro entrepreneur, pro worker, and pro consumer. And that is, we believe, Bidenomics in action.
The White House today also announced steps to tackle so-called junk fees and lower food prices. But this Bidenomics agenda that is trying to promote does not seem to have convinced that many Americans. A new poll released today shows 62% of Americans still do not approve of Biden's handling of inflation. But the White House is pushing back.
The polls don't tell the whole story. They don't tell the full story, and we understand that.
And this Thursday, President Biden is traveling to Philadelphia to once again talk about Bidenomics. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
Campaigning continues as we get closer to the Republican primaries. Former President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis both sitting down for televised interviews this week. Some had previously criticized the governor for appearing only on conservative networks.
On Tuesday, former President Trump announced that he received a letter from Special Prosecutor Jack Smith on Sunday, stating that I'm a target of the January 6 grand jury investigation and giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and indictment. Trump appeared on a town hall on Fox News on Tuesday, where he commented on the letter.
It bothers you. I got the letter on Sunday night. Think of it. I don't think they've ever sent a letter on Sunday night. And they're in a rush because they want to interfere. It's interference with the election. It's election interference.
Trump also talked about bribes the Biden family allegedly took from foreign nationals.
They got $5 million. Then they got another $5.2 million, I guess, from the same group. So they got $10.2 million. That comes from China. And that's only one that they've covered so far. I understand they have much more than that.
Trump says the alleged payments show the Biden administration has been compromised by foreign actors. He also said that if elected, he'd manage to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
As you know, I get along very well with Putin. I would tell Putin, got to settle. I would tell Zelensky, you got to settle. I would tell one, you're going to load up with money. I'd tell the other, you're not going to get any money. I would get a settlement in 24 hours.
Also on Tuesday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sat down for a one-on-one interview with CNN's Jake Tapper. Some previously criticized the Florida governor for allegedly only appearing on conservative outlets. Tapper asked DeSantis about the letter Trump received from the special counsel on Sunday.
This country is going down the road of criminalizing political differences, and I think that's wrong.
DeSantis added he hopes Trump doesn't get charged. He also said he'd take so-called woke elements out of the military.
People see the military losing its way, not focusing on the mission and focusing on a lot of these other things, which, man, we see that in other aspects of society as well. People want to join the military, I think, because they think it's something different. And I think some of the civilian leaders in the military are trying to have the military mimic corporate America academia.
And just on Tuesday, the University of New Hampshire released a new poll. It shows that 37% of voters in the key early voting states support Trump. DeSantis is trailing behind with 23%. Arian Pastar, NTD News.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.